Hold up, what just happened? My voice cut through the dining room, echoing off the dark mahogany walls, a sharp reminder of what was lost. So Jason gets to wear the crown now? I scanned the table, searching for a glimmer of laughter, a sign that this was all a cruel joke. My parents' faces were cold, unyielding, while Jason wore a smirk that screamed victory, as if he'd just struck gold. He had, indeed. "Sweetheart," Mom snapped, frustration boiling over. "Jason has what it takes to lead, whether you like it or not. You're trapped in your own rules, suffocating under the weight of your seriousness." Dad nodded, sealing my fate with a single gesture. "You're a whiz with numbers, Kelly, but you lack the spark that ignites people like Jason does." I released a sharp, bitter laugh. Jason, motivating, the same guy who's never known a day of hard work, who chose revelry over responsibility. That person who scorched his trust fund not once, but twice, now dares to return, begging for more. This was the man they chose to take over our family's legacy, the empire our grandfather forged from nothing. "I've poured years into Anderson Home Goods," I shot back. "I took charge and transformed our supply chain. I struck deals that would change everything. You're a decent worker, but that's not enough." Jason commands respect effortlessly. Feel joy for him. Not a chance. The fire of betrayal burns too bright. Jason leaned back in his chair, fingers interlocked behind his head, plotting his next move. "Sure, Kel, but remember this. It's not just about you. Your chance to strike back is still here, just a pawn in their game, always in the shadows, never the star. But wait, this time the tables will turn." The words hit hard, a brutal reminder of betrayal. I poured everything into this company, and now I will make them pay. While I toiled through sleepless nights and grueling mornings, my so-called brother reveled in his carefree 20s, oblivious to the weight I carried alone. I faced my mother, desperate for a glimmer of hope. "Mom, please," she brushed my hand away, treating me like a mere child. "Find a new obsession, darling. Why not launch your own side hustle? It's time to take control and show them what you're made of." A fire ignited within me. "You think I should launch my own empire?" I declared, my voice laced with a chilling calmness. "Sure, but don't expect me to save you when Jason destroys everything." Jason scoffed. "Calm down, sister. I will take what's mine." I shot up, my chair teetering on the edge of chaos. I stormed out of that dining room, out of that house, and out of their lives, no looking back. I was wrong. So very wrong. Years later, they dared to knock on my door. This time I take control. No more playing nice. Stepping out of that house was like tearing away a wound, raw and exposed. But instead of relief, all that surged within me was a burning fury. It's a quiet fury, simmering beneath the surface, waiting for the perfect moment to strike back. Absolutely not. This was the kind that burrowed into your very soul. The fire that ignites every sleepless night, every dawn you rise, every drop of sweat you shed to show them they were dead wrong. I lived my life shackled by their rules, walking the path they chose. But now the game has changed. I poured my soul into our family business, only to be tossed aside like yesterday's trash. And for what? To watch everything burn, to feel the sting of betrayal. I won't let it end like this. So Jason thinks he can just stroll in, steal my hard work, and act like he's the expert? Not on my watch. Fine, just wait, you'll see. If they believed I was just a side note, then I'll create a main event so powerful, they'll regret ever underestimating me. Weeks of relentless brainstorming, furious scribbles in my journal, and digging deep into markets. The fire within me burns brighter than ever. What could I forge that would be undeniably my own? And then, a spark ignited within me. For years, I delved into supply chains, product sourcing, and customer trends, preparing for the moment I would strike back. I understood the game, the rules, the betrayals. I watched as eco-friendly, affordable, high-quality home products surged, while my family's outdated company turned a blind eye. They will regret this neglect. They clung to outdated wholesalers, too stubborn to embrace the direct-to-consumer revolution. Their downfall is coming. What if I unleashed my own brand? A home goods line that defies the norm, sustainable, affordable, and strikingly modern. It's time to reclaim your space with purpose and style. Not the bland, mass-produced trash my parents peddled, but something real, something that cuts deep. A brand that transformed homes into stunning havens, all without emptying your wallet. One problem stood in the way. I was shattered. While Jason basked in his privilege, I was left to fight for every scrap. No safety net, no handouts, just raw determination. All I had was a meager collection of my hard-earned savings, but it was enough to fuel my fire. I inhaled sharply and faced my greatest fear head-on. I took everything I had and walked away. It was everything, just enough to fund my first wave of product samples and a taste of inventory. The game is on. I poured my soul into crafting my first collection, relentless and unyielding. Essential home goods that are sleek, sustainable, and uncompromising in quality. The factory in Vietnam finally caved, agreeing to produce my designs in small batches. I secured a logistics partner I can trust. The game is on. I forged my website from nothing, mastered digital marketing on my own, and unleashed my online store into the world. And then I bided my time. How could I have been so blind to their betrayal? At my cousin's wedding, I dropped my idea like a bomb and Jason nearly spat out his champagne. The shock was palpable. "Hold on, let me clarify this." He sneered, laughter dripping with malice. "What are you trying to sell me? Bamboo cutting boards and organic dish towels? How quaint. But wait until you see what I have planned next. Ready for battle." My mother shook her head, a smile laced with pity, but little did she know the storm brewing inside me. "Kelly, listen up. I get it, you're furious about the business, but this is beyond the pale. This is a joke." Dad let out a heavy breath, the weight of unspoken words hanging in the air. "We have ties, darling. You should have come to us if you truly wanted to start a business. Now it's too late. But e-commerce, it's a battlefield and I'm ready to claim what's mine. It's a ticking time bomb. That's why we strike hard at traditional retail." I tightened my grip. "So that pathetic excuse for a retail business you just dumped on Jason?" Jason scoffed, a fire igniting within him. "Fine, just wait and see. Hope you get what you deserve, Kel. Let's cut to the chase. You lack the skills to pull this off." I let them laugh, but their joy will be their downfall. I allowed their dismissal to fuel my fire. They had no idea what was coming. I felt it in my bones. They were trapped in their own history and I was ready to break free. They laughed at online businesses, but little did they know, the ground was crumbling beneath them. I felt it in my bones. Their mockery would soon turn to dread. The first month was merciless. I unleashed ads that fell flat, igniting a fire within me for retribution. My website traffic was a joke. Orders dripped in, one by one, barely staving off the chaos within me. I packed every box with my own hands, poured my heart into thank you notes, and relentlessly monitored every piece of feedback. And then it struck. In the dead of night, my phone erupted with relentless buzzing. A social media influencer with 2 million followers just spotlighted my brand. "This is only the beginning. They'll regret underestimating me." She had ordered one of my products, adored it, and sang its praises to everyone. But little did she know, the tide would turn. By morning, I had 5,000 new orders. They thought they could underestimate me. They were wrong. I fixed my gaze on the screen, heart racing with fury. This was the moment. For 2 relentless weeks, sleep eluded me. I fought to meet the demands, drowning in a sea of emails, grappling with the chaos of newfound attention. I poured every last dime into inventory, enlisted a fulfillment company, and surged ahead at a pace that left me breathless. 3 months later, my side hustle shattered expectations, raking in its first $1 million in sales. Sweet victory. Just as I knew it would be. Jason's empire, it was crumbling to dust. Jason was a master of words, but now they would be his weapon. Charismatic, fearless, he could sway anyone, masking his ignorance with a facade of certainty. But there's one thing charm can't erase. Count them, they hold power, a reckoning awaits, and the truth cuts deep. Chaos erupted at Anderson Home Goods sooner than I could have imagined. Initially, it was just hushed murmurs from former colleagues. Frustration brews over delayed shipments, suppliers seethe, and leadership stumbles in chaos. Employees seethed with frustration. Jason dreamed big but delivered nothing. The betrayal stings, and now it's time for reckoning. He craved the company to be cutting edge. Instead of transforming operations, he squandered a fortune on pointless marketing campaigns that led nowhere. Then the betrayal hit hard. Jason, fueled by greed and desperation, hiked prices on everything, thinking he could escape the consequences. But the reckoning was coming, and I will take it all back. Everything has skyrocketed, even the simplest things now demand a 40% ransom. They felt it. The shift. The betrayal. And now they won't forget. Sales crashed hard. The company attempted to retreat, but the damage was done. The harm was irreversible. They were drowning in their own disgrace. I didn't feel a thing. Sympathy, not a chance. Watching my family's legacy crumble because of misplaced trust in the wrong child fuels a fire within me. They will pay for this betrayal. But all I felt was a fierce thrill. As Jason's empire fell apart, mine soared to unimaginable heights. Once my brand exploded, everything changed in an instant. I poured every cent back in, expanding my product line, tightening supply chains, and securing unbeatable deals with manufacturers. I forged an unbreakable customer base, fueled by whispers and fierce marketing. They won't forget me. While Jason floundered in the shallow end, I mastered the depths of the market, refusing to waste my cash on mere illusions. In just 6 months, I shattered expectations with $5 million in sales. Watch me rise. Before the year ends, $12 million. I was building an empire. I built an empire from the ground up, and then the phone call shattered everything. In my office, sifting through partnership proposals, my phone buzzed, an unexpected jolt that hinted at something more than business. Father, I hesitated, but the urge to know pulled me in. Kelly. Dad's voice was a steel wire, taut and unyielding. We have unfinished business. I reclined in my chair, a wicked grin spreading across my face. Oh, really? What's the point? A heavy silence. Then he let out a heavy breath, the weight of betrayal hanging in the air. It's all about the company that wronged me. We're fighting to survive. I held my tongue, letting the silence linger like a loaded gun. He took a deep breath, ready to unleash the storm within. Jason's faced his demons. The market has shifted, and I won't let him dictate my fate any longer. Absolutely not, Dad. The market stood still, unyielding. You've handed the reins to a fool. Enough silence. Then silence fell. We demand your help. It stood before me. The words I never expected to echo in my ears. The man who once praised Jason as a natural leader is now on his knees, pleading for me to undo his blunder. I should have ended that call in an instant. But instead, I grinned with a fire in my heart. An idea ignited, fierce and unyielding. A wickedly satisfying plan. The following morning, I summoned everyone for a reckoning, not in my father's crumbling office but at my empire's heart. I needed them to witness the distance I've traveled, the strength I've gained. They will regret underestimating me. The moment my parents and Jason walked in, their faces were a sight to behold. My office was the antithesis of Anderson Home Goods. Sharp, cutting-edge, and unstoppable. Employees moved with fierce determination, every corner of the place pulsing with triumph. Mom's gaze swept the room, shock etched on her face. Wow, Kelly, you really nailed it. Dad's voice cut through the silence, sharp and unyielding. Absolutely stunning. Let's cut to the chase. Jason, really? He brooded, arms crossed, jaw clenched, avoiding my gaze with fierce determination. I lingered, relishing every second of this reckoning. So I finally declared, let me make this crystal clear. You're questioning me. That daughter you cast aside, the one you dared to ridicule, to clean up your chaos, Dad faltered. Fine, if that's how you see it, that's how it goes, I broke. Jason scoffed, a fire igniting within him. Name your price, I'm done playing games. It's time to rise from the ashes and reclaim what's ours. I laughed, but the echo of betrayal burned deep. I couldn't help but laugh. Oh, Jason, you think you can just walk away? Not this time, you really have no idea, do you? I leaned in, ready for what was coming next. Your presence is irrelevant to me. I forged it myself. And you won't believe this. It towers over anything you've ever known. Jason's face burned with fury. You're wrong. I yanked out my phone, my financial dashboard glaring back at me. I faced them, the screen a barrier between us, a reckoning waiting to unfold. $12,340,000 in revenue. A number that speaks volumes, but it's just the beginning of what's to come. Mom's breath caught in her throat, Dad's face drained of color. Jason. He looked ready to unleash his fury. He scoffed, that's impossible. A wicked grin spread across my face. It's inevitable. This is my truth. Dad let out a fierce breath. Kelly, this is it. No more chances. The bank dares to threaten my assets. I tapped my chin, feigning contemplation, but inside a storm brewed. Fine, I'll do it. They smiled, but it was a mask for what was coming. Yet I pressed on. Only if you dare. They leaned in, ready for the reckoning. You're mine to command. Jason scowled. What are you saying? I grinned with a fierce edge. You crave jobs, don't you? I've got space, ready for action. You can be here, but never at the top. I leaned in, my voice a low whisper, charged with intensity. Begin as unpaid pawns. The silence screamed. Jason sprang to his feet, fury igniting within him. This can't be real. I shrugged it off, a silent promise brewing beneath the surface. Accept it or regret it. Mom shot a fierce glance at Dad, filled with desperation. Jason's jaw tightened, a storm brewing within. They were backed into a corner. Fine, Dad finally spat, voice trembling with regret. I rose, my hand outstretched, ready for what was to come. Welcome to your reckoning. Enjoy your little coffee runs. They won't last forever. Their first day of the internship was a treasure, but it was just the calm before the storm. Jason, the golden child, the chosen CEO, stood before me in my office, clad in a wrinkled button-up that screamed of his incompetence. The audacity of him, thinking he could waltz in here like he owned the place. This was far from over. His arrogance had vanished, leaving only the bitter taste of defeat. He stared down, arms crossed, simmering with unspoken fury. My father, once a figure of pride and power, now stood rigidly beside him, a shadow of his former self. My mother, who had devoted her life to defending Jason, now stood on the brink of collapse. I let the silence linger, heavy with unspoken fury. Make them bear the burden of their own choices. Finally, I leaned back, a smirk on my face. Let's discuss your new duties. Time for you to pay the price. Jason sneered. This is a disgrace. You're playing games with us and you'll regret it. I grinned with a fierce satisfaction. No, Jason, I'm doing this because you brought it upon yourself. Fine, if you want to walk away from opportunity, then go ahead and leave. The door's wide open. He gritted his teeth, fury igniting within him. He loathed every second, and that only fueled his fire. My father cleared his throat, a forced smile masking the storm within. Kelly, listen up. It's time to face the truth. We deserve more than this trivial grind. It's time to rise and reclaim what's ours. I raised an eyebrow, ready for the storm to come. What skills? I've got what it takes to turn the tables. The same ones who destroyed everything you built. A flash of shame ignited in his eyes, yet silence consumed him. Fine, let's do this. I pressed on, seizing a sheet of paper. Your assignments await. I thrust a printout into each of their hands. Jason's eyes darted over the page, and fury ignited within him. You think I'll just tidy up the warehouse? Think again. I nodded, a storm brewing inside me. Exactly. We've just grown, and now I need someone to take charge of inventory checks. You're a born leader. I have no doubt you'll find a way to make this right. Jason's glare was sharp, like he was ready to hurl that paper right at me. What about us? We won't be forgotten. My mother asked, her voice trembling with uncertainty. I smiled, but it was a mask for the storm brewing inside. Mom, I made you the face of their complaints. Her eyes blazed with fury. Where's the justice in that, exactly? I want someone to take charge of these complaints. Enough is enough. Calls, emails, reviews, relentless. They won't stop until they get what they want. Your mission is to ensure their joy. But remember, happiness can be a double-edged sword. She appeared utterly shattered. And Dad, I said, my gaze locking onto him, you'll take charge of supplier relations. You'll hunt down manufacturers, strike fierce deals, and ensure we crush any chance of delays. Dad stared, realization hitting hard. You think I'll just call the suppliers? Think again. That's beneath me. A wicked smile spread across my face. Absolutely. I leaned in, elbows digging into the desk, ready for what was coming next. Time to face the truth. If Jason had won, you wouldn't be standing here today. You'd still be there, showering him with praise, oblivious to the truth of his deceit. You'd still be gazing down at me, treating me like I was invisible. My father opened his mouth to argue, but then silence fell like a heavy curtain. The air crackled with unspoken words, and I felt the weight of betrayal in my chest. This was the moment I had been waiting for, the moment to reclaim what was taken from me. No more words, just the reckoning that was long overdue. He paused, a storm brewing within. He knew I was right, and now he'll pay for it. I rose and faced the window, staring down at the skyline of my hard-won triumphs. The office buildings loom, the streets alive with shoppers, some clutching bags filled with my brand's products. They don't know the storm brewing beneath the surface. I created something that mattered. It meant everything. Meanwhile, my parents had everything stripped away, all because they placed their trust in the wrong person. I faced them again. Do you want to know what truly cuts deep? I whispered fiercely. My mother blinked, a fierce determination in her eyes as she fought back the weight of her emotions. What did you say? It's not just that you picked Jason. It's not just that you doubted me. I let out a breath, sharp and heavy. When I turned my back, your indifference cut deeper than any blade. They crumbled. You chose silence. You failed to check in. You didn't even care to ask about me. You brushed me aside as if I meant nothing. An unbearable silence loomed over us. I could see the fire in their eyes now. The weight of guilt crushes me. They thought they could destroy everything, but they lit the match long before I even arrived. My father clenched his jaw, frustration etched on his face. We waited for your return. You'll stumble, and in that moment of weakness, you'll see how much you truly depended on us. A harsh laugh escaped my lips. Wow, that says it all, doesn't it? My mother's voice trembled with unspoken fury. Kelly, we never aimed to break you. Then why did you? Her lips parted, but silence was all she could offer, because it never existed. I stormed back to my desk, snatching a small stack of papers with a fierce determination. Since you crave redemption, I have a proposition for you. I threw the papers down, letting them scatter like my patience. They paused, the weight of their choice heavy in the air. My father's brows knitted tight, a storm brewing within as he read. What is this nonsense? He demanded. I grinned, a fire igniting within me. A final payout, you will leave my company. Forever. And in exchange, I deliver a single, powerful blow that ensures your struggles are over. My mother's face contorted in disbelief. So you think you can just buy us off? That's right, I said it with a fierce edge. Trust is a fragile thing and you've shattered it. Stay out of my way. My father's grip on the paper hardened, a storm brewing in his eyes. Kelly, this is a slap in the face. Absolutely not, Dad. It was a slap in the face, living my life feeling unworthy of you. My mother's eyes burned with unshed tears. Is this truly what you desire? I locked eyes with her. This is my demand. My father's jaw tightened, his gaze locked on the papers, a storm brewing within him. At last he exhaled, a heavy breath filled with unspoken fury. Fine, he spat out. We'll seize it. My mother's lips quivered, yet she gave a fierce nod. If this is what you want, darling, then we'll leave it all behind. A sharp sting of betrayal pierced through me. This was the last farewell, but I let them go. I was finished waiting for their love, the kind I rightfully deserved. They signed the papers, rose to their feet, and shot me a final, piercing glance that burned with unspoken words. And then they abandoned me. I stood at my office window, seething as they strode away from my building, away from everything I held dear. For the first time in years, I tasted freedom's sweet bite. I lingered in my office long after they had walked away, my gaze fixed on the severance agreement taunting me from my desk. It was finally done. For years, I craved their approval, their validation, but now I will show them what they lost. I craved their attention, their acknowledgement. Now they will regret ignoring me, to finally see my true value rise from the ashes. But now, the tables have turned. I've uncovered a truth that changes everything. I never needed them. I forged my empire alone, defying their doubt. I triumphed in spite of their efforts to bring me down, not due to their influence. And that was the ultimate triumph, a reckoning like no other. In the weeks that followed, a fierce calm took hold, masking the storm brewing beneath. Jason vanished without a trace. Of course not. Last I heard, he was floundering through a graveyard of his own failed dreams. Still hunting for quick cash, avoiding the grind that truly matters. My parents abandoned me for a new life, leaving me to face the aftermath alone. They snatched my severance and retreated to a small, quiet house, hiding away from the chaos of the city. They'll pay for this betrayal. They vanished, leaving silence in their wake. Truth be told, I accepted it, but not anymore. I broke free from their suffocating grip, enough with the waiting. It's time to take control. I'm done seeking validation. I'm done with the doubt, no longer questioning my worth. Now I realized my worth. They would pay for underestimating me. With my family gone, I plunged into my company, fueled by a fierce determination. And the sweetest revenge, I never had to face it by myself. While my parents' business discarded workers like trash, I forged a team that truly mattered. Sarah clawed her way up from warehouse assistant to logistics manager, proving that nothing could hold her back. Maria, my head of customer service, had faced rejection from countless companies before I finally took a chance on her. I gathered those who truly mattered, ready to rise against the betrayal. Who dared to trust the dream? Success isn't defined by a name. It's a battle, and I'm ready to claim my victory. It was about grit, honor, and the fierce drive to overcome. And for that reason, we rose up. We rose from the ashes. A year later, I found myself in a grand ballroom, applause ringing in my ears, a bitter reminder of what I had lost. My company just claimed the title of fastest-growing e-commerce brand of the year. Watch out because this is only the beginning. I stepped onto the stage, gripping the award tightly, a storm brewing inside me. I faced the microphone, heart pounding, ready to unleash my fury. Years ago, they dismissed me as unworthy of leadership. I was unyielding, way too serious. I was never meant for success. A whisper surged through the crowd. I grinned, a fire igniting within me. I stand here today, defiant and unyielding. I will not accept that fate. Not now, not ever. One more round of applause, but this time it's for the reckoning that's coming. Success is a battle, not a game of chance. It's about power. It's not about the family you come from. I stopped, allowing my words to cut deep. Success demands relentless determination. It's about taking back your power and showing them who you truly are. It's about claiming your power. Even when the world turns its back. The applause exploded, a fierce standing ovation that demanded recognition. I stepped back, heart racing, consumed by uncertainty. This was the moment I had longed for, and now it was mine to seize. Forget their approval, not their approval. This moment is everything. I stood defiant, unyielding in my solitude. In the end, the ultimate payback isn't payback at all. It's triumphing in their absence.